What is up, divine beings? Peace, love, abundance, blessings. My name is AstroPapi, and this is a video on working with Venus, the planet of love, romance, and the divine feminine for abundance, wealth, and financial gain. And the thing is that, yes, Venus is associated with things such as pleasure, lust, love, sensuality, and beauty, but there's also an aspect of Venus that draws in the abundance, that draws in the financial capital, that draws in gains of economy. So this is to say that there are multiple planets to work with that can help you with abundance. So you also have Mercury, you also have Jupiter, and I'll make separate videos on them, but Venus is one that really gets slept on, and I don't know why, when her ability to manifest wealth is incredibly powerful. Now, when we think about Venus, and we're thinking about the divine feminine principles of abundance, and that's not the same principles that we have in capitalistic societies. In capitalistic societies, we're told to grind hard, we're told to put in extra hours, we're told to pursue. But with Venus, you're actually learning about how to be a strong magnet. This is about calling in. This is about seducing in. This is about reeling in. And when we think about Venus seduction, the Empress archetype, right? We're looking at somebody who knows how to get what they want. And this is really the energy of honoring yourself, honoring the space around you. And when you amplify through certain energetic invocations your environment, whether it be your home, your work environment, and your physical vessel, you become more magnetic to wealth. You become more magnetic to getting new clientele, to getting new customers, to getting new job opportunities, new job offers, all right? So when working with Venus, there's so much that is possible here. And there's different manifestations of Venus in spiritual mythology and pantheons. Now, I have different videos on working with the Greek goddess Aphrodite, who is the embodiment of Venus that I personally connect with really well and work with. But if you work with the Norse pantheon, then you would have Freya. If you are working with the Yoruba pantheon, the Orisha, then you have Oshun. If you are working with the Sumerian pantheon, you have Inanna or Ishtar. And I don't like to group all of them as the same deity. That is never what I mean, but what I do mean is that they carry a similar archetype, in the same way that in every pantheon you have the warrior. You have an energy that deals with peace, tranquility, motherhood, right? So when we're looking at Venus, we're looking at the energy of seduction, the energy of beauty, the energy of self-love, and utilizing that energy to attract wealth, utilizing that energy to get new job opportunities, utilizing that energy to be persuasive in business, commerce, and all of the above. And it doesn't matter if you identify more with masculinity or femininity. Venus is there for you if you are willing to invoke and call in her energy. So what would be the best day to do any rituals for Venus? Of course, that would be Friday, the day of Venus, but that doesn't mean that you're restricted to just Fridays. Now, the important thing about Venus is thinking about things that will bring in romance to your environment. So let's say, for example, you work a desk job. This is where you would want to put energies that carry romantic frequencies, that carry yin energy, that carry soft energy, that carry seductive energy. If you work in the service industry, let's say you're working as a bartender and you have a register, if you're allowed to, or if you have a restaurant or some type of business, right? If you're allowed to, please put some flowers right by there, put some roses right by there. And we're gonna get into the spiritual properties of roses. If you are working an office job at home, you're working online, that place is gonna be where your Venus altar is at, all right? If you yourself are let's say trying to attract certain business opportunities, and your physical avatar is also an art altar to connect with. So when we're thinking about the spaces in which we work, then we're thinking about how do we add the portals for Venus to come forward. And my first recommendation is always to have roses, to always have flowers on deck, because roses emit a certain frequency. Roses themselves actually carry spirits, and these can be spirits of seduction, these can be spirits of romance, of beauty, of grace, of harmony. And different colors of roses will carry on different properties. So over here I have more like these pink, magenta roses, and these will bring in that soft energy, that feminine energy, that seductive energy. If I had red would bring in more passion, more romance, right? And yes, I can use these roses to attract love, to do beauty rituals, but you can use these to attract clients. You can use these to attract customers. Anything that is in the spiritual world that deals with sweetness. So when we're also thinking about honey, when we're thinking about jasmine, rose herb, sandalwood, patchouli, all these sweetness that people can associate more with drawing in love, drawing in a lover. You can use that for drawing in business, all right? Drawing in work opportunities, drawing in customers, drawing in clients. So if, for example, you are working in a business, you can have roses right by the register. If you are a spiritual reader and you're offering readings, you can place roses in the environment in which you are conducting these readings, whether they're in person or virtual. If you're a hairstylist or a makeup practitioner, have some roses in the booth that you work in. And yes, like roses can start to become an expense if you're getting some on a weekly basis, but it is worth it because you don't know what roses can do. They can literally sweeten and soften the energy up. And let's say you are working with somebody who is notoriously difficult or very much a hard, stern personality, those flowers might soften them up. Let's say also, along with roses, you add some scents into the space. Let's say you burn some rose-scented candles, some patchouli-scented candles, some rose incense, some rose oil, some rose perfume, jasmine, amber. Oh, that's gonna sweeten up the energy. And as much as we act like we are above our senses, we are living beings, we are creatures at the end of the day, and sensory experiences can ward off somebody's own defense mechanisms, but sensory experiences can also draw in people. And an example of this is there was a time where I was first doing readings in person at an apothecary, and that apothecary had so much access to different scents. They had frankincense, amber, patchouli, and I remember just opening the window and burning a scent and leaving it outside, and so many people would be drawn in. They would ask what the scent is. They would ask where it's from. They would ask if we sold it. And I was able to help the business get some attraction of clients. But then at the same time, as they walked in, I would introduce myself and I would be like, oh, hi, I was the one who burnt the scent. I'm actually a spiritual reader. And boom, just like that, I was able to get some readings on a slow Tuesday or something, right? And you can also have roses in your environment, let's say your living environment, if you work from home, and that can also bring in things. Let's say you're working with a very difficult boss online and you have a Zoom call. Sounds crazy. Put some roses right next to you and speak to the roses. Ask that they enchant this difficult person. Ask that they do whatever it is that you need them to do. Remember that roses bring in softness. What can softness be used for to benefit you? Maybe the softness can draw in customers. Maybe the softness can make you more magnetic. Maybe the softness can make you more persuasive. Maybe the softness can get you a promotion with somebody who is notoriously difficult to work with. Another thing that you can have is rose quartz crystal, the pink stones. And rose quartz is one of them, right? You also have rhodonite, rhodochrosite, pink aura quartz. But with these stones, have them around your business. Have them when people walk in. Have them near your register. It's gonna make people, whether they're conscious of what these crystals do or not, feel sweetened. And if you're able to as well, wear something that is Venusian. Some stones that are associated with Venus can be pearl. My Aphrodite statue has pearls around her. You can wear some pearl crystals. You can also wear some rose quartz, some rhodonite, rhodochrosite, the pink stones, and set the intention when you wear it. Say, like, I draw in good customers. I draw in generous customers. I draw in customers who like to tip. I draw in a promotion. I call in job opportunities. If right now you're not working and you're feeling stuck, then I would recommend for you to literally get some roses wherever your office is while you're applying for jobs and say, like, I set the intention that I am getting the best work opportunity possible for me. Another thing you can have are permanent roses, and I like to have these all around my home because they also carry energy and they send the energy outward to the space. If you do spiritual floor washes with Florida water, which you can get at any botanica, any spiritual botanica, I also recommend rose cologne, and I'm sure you could get these on Amazon as well. And with the rose cologne, you can put some on your clothes, setting the intention that you're bringing in sweetness for the day, for the work day. You can wash these with a floor wash. So again, maybe adding rose cologne with Florida water and whatever else you do to do your floor washes, and setting the intention that it's bringing in sweetness. You can add these to your spiritual baths as well. Anoint these to your jewelry, to any candles that you're lighting, and this will bring in that sweetness. Now, a fun tip that I like to also include is honey. Honey can be very persuasive, and it's used a lot in seduction magic. So for example, if you're trying to draw a lover in, if you're calling in you love, you can use honey on by literally, dabbling some on your finger, anointing it on your candle, and calling in sweetness. A tip that I like to do as well is put some honey and put some on your lip. And let's say you have a job interview. Let's say you have to talk to a difficult employer or a difficult coworker. Let's say you're trying to attract clients in a new business opportunity that just came your way. Put some honey in. You can also do that on a first date. Now, be careful, y'all. Be careful what could happen. I bear no responsibility to how you use or misuse your magic, but those are some things you can do with Venus. And if you're starting to see Venus bringing you in the wealth, bringing you in the abundance, I would really recommend to give her offerings, because it sounds crazy, right? Can flowers, can sweet scents, can they really do so much? Yes, they can. Because when you are adding sweetness around you and on yourself as well, people can't help but to be around you. We are sensory beings. As much as we act like sensory experiences and aesthetics don't influence us, they influence everything. They have charm. That's the reason why luxury brands are able to sell for the way that they sell, because they first started off charming people and they created histories off of charming people. So we're thinking about Chanel, Bottega, and from there, after charming so many people, they started to be able to charge high based on a reputation of magnetism, based on a reputation of aesthetic influence and appeal. So you never know where this can go. And I've noticed as a reader myself, as a full-time spiritual practitioner, that sometimes people will tell me, like, I just like your energy, or there's a glow around you and that makes me want to get a reading from you, or something just made me feel like I had to talk to you. And even though I'm not open to tarot, like, something just drew me in. And that is the energy of Venus, baby. So don't sleep on Venus, y'all. Venus can do so much. Now, there is one rule that is non-negotiable with Venus, and that is having your self-worth and your self-care be on point. Remember, Venus is beauty, and this doesn't matter if you, again, are whatever gender, whatever sex, whatever you identify with, masculinity, femininity. You want to look as the flyest version of you possible. You want to look as the freshest version of you possible. This doesn't mean you have to spend crazy money on anything. This is about making sure that you wear clothes that makes you feel good, that makes you look good. This is to make sure that your business and your physical home are clean, are on check. This is to say that your grooming is done, whether you shave or get haircuts or anything like that, right? Keep yourself like looking polished, keep yourself looking fresh. I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money or get expensive procedures or manicures or pedicures. Do it yourself at home if you have to, but understand that when you amplify how you look, yes, we do live in a visual world. It does matter. We live in a sensory world. It does matter. If you amplify how you look, people will feel charmed by you. Now, that doesn't mean that your look is the full value of your merit or the full value of your work or the full value of your worth. No, but it does entice people in, all right? And also, when you look good, you feel good. And it's usually those moments where we're feeling the worst, that we're not motivated to take care of ourselves. Those are the moments where when you do take care of yourself, when you make sure you feel fresh, when you make sure that your environments are in order, you will feel amplified even if you're having a bad moment, even if you're having a bad day, even if you're having a bad week. When you get a haircut, do a hair change, do a, let's say, wardrobe change, and you're going through, let's say, a difficult moment, that will amplify your energy and that will make you want to just be on 10. And even if you are going through something, nobody will be able to tell. You won't look like what you're going through. And that is the key here, all right? Venus is seduction. Venus can draw in lovers. It can draw in, like, if you want to get yourself a sugar daddy or a sugar parent or a sugar mama, right? Like, Venus can bring that in. Don't get it twisted. But Venus can be used in commerce. Venus can be connected with, petitioned to in commerce. And she can be a very beneficent planet. If she starts doing favors for you, I would highly recommend to give her offerings. One of my favorite things to do for her is to get her some Prosecco Rosé, get her some nice chocolates. And I'm not talking about department store chocolates or like drugstore chocolates. I'm talking about something a little bit more upscale, something that, you know, can be like in the $20-$30 range. I'm talking about really gourmet chocolate, and have one with her, you know. Have any types of offerings that deal with sweetness. This can be pastries as well, but make sure that they're of an investment. Remember that with Venus, you do have to spend to get. You have to spend on flowers. You have to spend on these sensory energies. But when you get them in, they do so much work for you and they do so much magnetism for you, all right? I hope this video was of service, y'all. My name is AstroPapi. I am a spiritual reader, a brujo, a spiritual practitioner, a metaphysical practitioner, and I offer spell work, spiritual readings, healing work through Reiki, and I offer magic consultations as well. If you want to find anything about that, you can find my link, my website down here below on the about for this video. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, where I go live sometimes and just talk, offer mini readings, you can find that on the handle below. And my Instagram is at AstroPapi. If there's any content you want me to create, any topics you want me to discuss, please let me know. If you have any questions about any matters dealing with Venus, dealing with abundance, please let me know. Be on the lookout. I will be doing a video on manifesting wealth with Jupiter, as well as manifesting wealth with Mercury, all right? We will talk soon. But in the meantime, stay beautiful, stay abundant, stay great. I'm filming this on a Friday, a Venus day. So if you see this on a Friday, happy Venus day to you. And again, it doesn't matter what energies you connect with. Venus is there for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're more rooted in masculinity or femininity or both. Venus is there for you. So tap in, all right? Much love, much empowerment, peace and blessings, y'all.